I think, well, that was a frame skip, huh? I think that people don't appreciate how cool local politics can be. I was a radio show host in Grand Haven, Michigan, a town of a population of 3, and I don't know how many. Not many. Not many. If the entire town of Grand Haven went to a McDonald's, I don't think the McDonald's would be unable to handle it. Let me say that. But one thing that was, the job was to go talk to the local politicians and understand what they were up to, and then for the town report on that. I fell in love, folks. I fell in love. It's cool to be the mayor. It's not, you don't have Secret Service. You're not getting driven around anywhere, but it's still cool. The mayor has a seat on the city council. Just being on the city council is cool. In fact, not unlike our House, Senate, and presidency, the city council is really where the majority of the work or the majority of the legislating is done. I recommend that you check out your city council or town council or whatever you call it in your area. Board of yada yada. Go check it out. Because if you get elected to those positions, you can do some pretty cool stuff. You can actually affect people's lives. If, for example, it makes you incredibly sad to see homeless people needlessly treated with cruelty, you can change that in your town. You can be unlike these folks.
Homeless Wi-Fi will change your neighborhood. A public library in San Francisco has been quietly deactivating their Wi-Fi at night to prevent the local homeless population from gathering around their building after dark. It comes from an exchange they had with local residents in 2020.
All right, real quick, can we just, I don't know at what point San Francisco loses its title, but I'm pretty damn sick of San Francisco being called this leftist paradise. It absolutely is not. Leftists do not believe in NIMBYism. Not in my backyard. The phrase is shortened from. We don't believe in the NIMBY mentality on the left, and I see Republican-style cruelty from those clowns. Now, when I say those clowns, I want to be clear. I'm talking about the people in office right now. I don't believe that San Franciscans genuinely support this. But I gotta say, the reputation of San Francisco ought to be looked at again. You gotta earn a reputation, and this is not leftist behavior.
2022, where they complained about drug use and sidewalks being blocked by the unhoused. And they attribute the disruptions to the free Wi-Fi that was constantly within reach while just outside the library. Limiting the Wi-Fi went mostly unnoticed until one day the library received an email from a worried friend of an unhoused person saying that they were worried about their friend who they're trying to get into a long-term residential treatment. Because the friend didn't have access to the library's free Wi-Fi, they were having trouble keeping in touch with one another. And since then, more and more people have come forward having issues with how the library is handling the digital divide, which is causing conflicts between the residents in the area because it's sort of a moral gray area whether or not to bring the Wi-Fi back. And regardless of what happens, it's pretty clear that anti-homeless Wi-Fi will change your neighborhood. A public library in San Francisco has been quietly deactivating their Wi-Fi.
All right. So, I happen to know that somebody who watches this stream lives in San Francisco. I would rather have you, sir, and I won't call him out by name in this stream. Let me just say I was listening to some James Brown earlier and thinking of you. I would rather have you making those decisions about whether or not the public library should turn off its Wi-Fi at night, thus accomplishing the task of making it less comfortable to be homeless. I'd rather have you deciding that. Because I don't think you would support NIMBYism. I don't think you would say, these people absolutely have rights. These people deserve kindness just as long as I never have to see them. Let's talk about that. If you are thinking, these people scare me, these people are gross, these people are mentally unwell, I'm not safe around these people, what's your response? What should happen to that person? The only wrong answer is that you say they just have to go away. That's shirking responsibility as a society. We don't do that. You've got bigger problems if that person shows up on your doorstep than just getting rid of your doorstep. You are morally obligated to deal with these problems. You've got to figure out, where can they safely sleep tonight? Where can they relatively comfortably sleep tonight? They could probably safely sleep in a shipping crate somewhere, but that's not humane. Where could they comfortably sleep tonight? Am I willing to spend $15 extra in taxes to ensure that there is a gigantic facility with a warm bed and air conditioning, and yes, Wi-Fi, open 24 hours a day, does not matter what state you are in, rooms are closed off from others, that's dealing with the problem. If you don't want them congregating around the library, you build a place where they can congregate. You do not say, get out of here and do whatever you do as long as I don't know about it. That is not the attitude to have. We can, all around this country, deal with this problem. You ever see those Tesla coil toys? I'm not sure if I'm saying the right thing, but it's like a sphere and electricity shoots out to all parts of it at once. If you put your hand on it, it doesn't really shock you. All the electricity flies towards your hand, but it doesn't shock you. But if you put just one finger on it, it shocks you. Because all that electricity flies to just one point. With this issue, it becomes easier if we all get off our duffs and do something. So, if all of you get on your city councils, if all of you become mayors, if all of you run for office and you run for local office, and you say the Wi-Fi will stay on at night, and we will have in our small town, we will have a small facility. And if that, for giving somebody a place to sleep or exist outside of the cruel elements, we will do that. And if we find that it is full every day, we will say this is a bigger problem than we thought. We will turn to the taxpayers and we will ask them again, are you decent human beings or are you monsters? It is not anybody phrasing it more gentle than that doesn't respect you enough to be honest with you. Are we decent people or are we despicable? Because if we're decent people, I'm going to need another $15. That's right. I'm asking you for a whopping $30. I'm asking you to skip going out to one meal with your sweetheart each year. In exchange, people won't have to spend every night having an experience which, if you had just one time, you would remember with horror for the rest of your days. Every single night. This is why it's important to pursue local power. You should do it. You can do it. And I highly recommend it. If one day, if you look at being a national representative, but the idea of being involved in government on that level is just, it's too daunting to you. Lord knows I understand. It's daunting to me to even think about that as a possibility. City council, absolutely not. Wherever you live, you're familiar with, and your opinions about how it ought to be run are going to be valid. Start with that, I recommend. If you're uncomfortable even doing that, then find somebody who has a heart and a soul and start a campaign for them. Get their agreement that they will run if you help them, and help them. But get it done so we have answers to things like this that we'll be able to tell future generations about without shame.